young army versus old army. I want to run a video. But before that video, General Naravane, in his memoir, which has not yet been released, there's an excerpt which has come out in the media, and he says the Agnipath scheme surprised the army. It was a bolt out of the blue for the Navy and the Air Force. Now, this is an excerpt in a newspaper which has come out. But a few months before there was talk of the book, we had him on our podcast, and I'm going to run this for you. Can you play this? I'm coming to the Agniveer scheme. There's this still that little confusion in the minds of people.
As far as HR policies are concerned, HR policies always undergo changes. Now, in the mid-70s, the color service used to be only 7 years, with a 7-year reserve liability, and there was nothing like pension. Not many people know that, but that was changed. It was changed to 15 years to make it pensionable with a 2-year reserve liability. So, if you can increase it, you can decrease it. HR policies will also be dynamic. So, to say that you can't change a HR policy is not correct. Now, we are trying out this scheme. Give it a chance. How do you know it will not work? When the age was increased or the color service was increased from 7 to 15 years, there was a UN cry that, oh, we'll be an old army. How can you have such, we need youngsters in the army. Exactly the opposite argument was given at that point of time. Now when you're trying for a young army, everybody is saying why.
So those who are quoting the former army chief, his excerpt from that book, there's also this part. So it's not as if he was against the Agnipath scheme. He did say that it's an experiment and it might not work. It's something that is being tried out.
I think it's very clear. It's very much in favor of it, and I won't even put it as an experiment. It is a HR reform and an induction process that has changed. We should have no doubts about it, and we should work to make it successful. It is well thought out, and it is not something that has come, totally unconnected. If you see many of the advanced armies of the world, this is successfully being employed.
Yes.
Those are I'm talking of armies with great reputation.
General Rawat used to talk about it quite often. It.
So it is not something that has not been tried. It is not something that has been just pulled out and specific to our requirement. But from looking at our own requirements in our neighborhood and how do we lower the age profile, this was one of the best methods. Now when you talk of bolt from the blue, I have not read that since it has not come out. I am not sure exactly in what manner. You need to read the book to really understand the connotation and the context.
Okay.
For example, many variations were being discussed that for, let's say for Air Force, for the technical, can we have a little higher percentage for the Navy too? See, anything you go beyond 5 years, after 7 years, if you have to send a person back to the field, it is bad for him. 4 years, just the right period when he can go back to the society and have the second career.
I did ask, some politicians at that time when it was being introduced, because one was this. They said, look, if we keep them till they are 30, then they are, it works against them. If they join the service, say at 18, 19, 20, whatever, they get into it. And then when they come out at 26, they are still young and they can join the workforce.
Absolutely.
But when you come out, if you come out at 30, then you are unemployable for certain categories of jobs.
When you say bolt from blue, there are many variations that were discussed. Finally, it was decided, look, we need to have one scheme. Same has to be true for all three services, and we'll implement it across the board. So that was a decision taken. It has its own processes. Leave aside minor issues that we need to do. So rest of the thing, we have to sort out our training pattern so that within this 4, thereafter, how do we train? People whom we retain, we train them again or second phase of training for their technical abilities, for improving, for their technical employment to be better. This issue of 4 years was very important. Less than 4 years, there is a combat effectiveness issue. More than 4 years, there is the issue that you brought out. It is too late for him to go to the society or for the second career. What we need to look at is that the 75% of people who are going out after 4 years, we need to take care of them. And the way to take care is to have a confirmed reservation into CAPFs or all the issues that we've discussed in DPSUs, in all government organizations, in state governments. That is where everybody should concentrate. Finally, if we are able to settle everybody into a good job in government and in semi-government or in DPSUs, and also in corporate outside, in private sector, then look at the advantages. A very dedicated, disciplined force, a soldier who's worked for 4 years, who's trained, who's motivated, goes into civil society in other forms, in other employment, and continues to contribute with his traits. So as a benefit to the society, it is huge. As a benefit to the service, we get the next lot of Agniveers. The age profile remains young. So whole cycle continues.
Okay.
So we have to look at this way. I think we should concentrate our energies not in talking against the scheme or how they should be closed, but how to make it successful, and how do we support the 75% of the people who will come out. Why is nobody talking of that? The state government should come forward and say, okay, this is what we'll do. And some state governments have done that.
Click here to watch the full episode.